23 wickets on day one and 642 deliveries in totality. That's what it took for the second test match between India and South Africa to be concluded in Cape Town. Plenty of talk around this match, which will go down in history as the shortest ever test match being played. And Rohit Sharma, the Indian captain, now finally has had his say on the conditions in Cape Town. He is critical not about the pitch, he is critical about the ICC and its double standards. He's also talked about the World Cup final which was played in Ahmedabad, the pitch which was given a poor rating. Let's also not forget that in Indore, when Australia was visiting India last year, that pitch also got a poor rating. And Rohit Sharma has called into question the consistency with which match referees go ahead and assess the pitches. He feels that the way that pitches in Mumbai, Bangalore are assessed is different to the times when it comes to assessing pitches in Cape Town, in Centurion and elsewhere in the world, and he's asked for greater consistency. Dean Elgar at the end of day one said that it's a unique Cape Town track. The local boy saying that the ball was getting far more pace after it pitched, which is something unusual. Yes, you're used to the bounce there, but the ball getting more pace on it after pitching was something unusual for him. Ashwin Prince, the former South African player, said that that was a wayward bounce. It was up and down, and he also wasn't happy with the pitch. But what's the Indian captain got to say to the ICC, and what did he, as a visiting captain, have to feel about the pitch? Let's tell you about that. Rohit goes ahead and says that he honestly did not mind playing on pitches like this as long as everyone keeps their mouth shut in India and don't talk much about Indian pitches honestly. So the Indian captain very clear in his wordings, not mincing any words over there, and he wants, when England are to come here, there is already a lot of talk around what pitches will be dished out. There was a lot of talk and a lot of buzz when Australia visited here. Sections of the Australian media had already started to cry foul. Remember, India's qualification for the World Test Championship final was on the line then when Australia were visiting India for that 4-match series which happened. There was a lot of criticism that the Ahmedabad pitch got. There was criticism about the Indore pitch which got a poor rating, and the Australian media in many ways was spooked. So was the Australian team, even ahead of the first test match which took place in Nagpur. Now pitches are to spin in India, and that's a globally known fact now. Rohit Sharma has just reiterated it, and he's asked questions of everyone and for teams visiting, and let's say the ICC and people out there who then have issues with Indian decks spinning from day one. He's posed those questions and we'll tell you about that. So stick along with us. Look at this quote coming in from Rohit Sharma after the match got over. He then says that when you're put up against a challenge, you come and face it. That's what happens in India. But in India, on day one, if the pitch starts turning, people start talking about puff of dust. That's what he says. He says that there is so much crack here on the pitch, people are not looking at that. So he's just trying to compare how people and the narratives change as far as certain media organizations outside of India or in the Western world are concerned. Even in Australia, I'd go ahead and say, because let's not forget how certain media outlets were crying foul, like I said, even before the Nagpur test match had begun. And of course, it didn't go the whole distance as well, because Australia were outplayed and they had psyched themselves getting into a conversation or buying into a narrative which possibly wasn't around, that parts of the pitch were watered, the pitch has been left too dry, this and that. All of that was being said, and perhaps you believe this could be the thing going forward as well in the upcoming series against England that India are to host, the 5-match series that's starting on the 25th of January. Rohit Sharma said that don't complain in India if it starts turning from day one, because if it can seem from day one, if it can swing from day one, whatever it is, when you're traveling, you look at it as a challenge and you should be fine with it. That's what we're told in India. Rohit Sharma, the Indian captain, then goes ahead and says that some of these match referees need to keep their eye open and see properly how they rate pitches. It's quite important. I still can't believe that the World Cup final pitch was rated below average. A batsman got a 100 there, and he's referring to Travis Head over there in the final. How can a pitch be rated poor when a batsman is going ahead and scoring a century in a World Cup final. That pitch was given a below average rating. Indore was given a poor rating. So Rohit Sharma just questioning the standards of refereeing and also calling into question what is it that the match officials, the ICC backed, the ICC designated match officials and match referees which are there, why is it that they're only selectively then making these assessments, and they are in many ways there are different things being said about Indian tracks, but not as much about the times or on occasions when India are visiting. Why are such things then not said? Why is it not being said when India in challenging conditions in Cape Town have gone ahead and won a test match, and they've done it in some manner? Rohit Sharma then goes ahead, continues to target and talk about the match referees. He says that the match referees, they need to look into and start rating pitches based on what they see, not based on the countries. So I hope they keep their eyes and ears open. Rohit Sharma launching an all-out attack in many ways, if you were to ask me. Rohit Sharma being very, very clear, the Indian captain, that the match referees are only buying into certain narratives and they are not judging it with the kind of fairness, the Indian conditions, as they do otherwise. It's not the same standards that he feels are being applied. Let's move forward and tell you about the next quote. Speaking more about the conditions, Rohit Sharma says that the conditions in India will spin without a doubt. But obviously people don't like it because it spins from day one. But that's not the point. If the ball seems from ball one, that's okay, right? For everyone, well, that's not fair. The ball starts spinning from ball one, it should be okay as well. Valid point, if you ask me. Very valid point. And it's why is it that we call into question these things only when batters are struggling? There is no point or there is no talking point rather about the pitches when there are belters being dished out, if you want to ask me personally. No comments or no pitch ratings then are put into question. No ICC match report is then questioned when belters are being dished out. Why being unfair to bowlers? That's my personal take on it. We need to decide what we want, where our cricket to go, and if this is the way, then Rohit Sharma is right. Then don't question. If every country is giving certain conditions based on what the true nature is or whatever suits that particular country, then don't question India when there are certain tracks, and there are going to be predominantly most tracks which are going to give you spin from day one. So don't put into question those scenarios as well. And Rohit very sportingly says that he's got no problems as a cricketer because we as Indians, he says, we are told to look at it as challenges. Today, the Indian side came up on top, and there will be occasions when the Indian team will fall short. But Rohit Sharma says that why is it then Indian pitches get so much criticism and not this particular pitch? He goes ahead and says that he's looking forward to how this pitch will now be rated, and the whole talk, how it shifts when matches are get played in India. He's not too happy about the fact, and he said it very plainly, very clearly, that pitches turn in India. There's absolutely no surprise, or there is nothing unknown about it. Now, if pitches can have cracks and can bounce the way that they do, then be okay with the fact that when the pitches start to turn or when tracks start to turn from day one in India, you should be okay with that. And if you can't win in India in those conditions, so be it. Those were the thoughts of Rohit Sharma. I've shared my take as well on this whole scenario. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Rohit Sharma not holding back in his barrage of attacks, I would say, towards the whole way that pitches are being assessed these days, and he's not held back on any front. Left, right and center, an attack coming in from the Indian captain. But good in India, they prevailed these testing conditions in Cape Town, came up to be turned out to be the better team on those two particular days, and that's why India have crucial points in the World Test Championship cycle that we presently are in. But it calls for a bigger discussion, it calls for a bigger debate as to how these ratings are done by the ICC, and if there is room for fairness, then why don't we go ahead and look for it and ask the right questions from the ICC.